Live from PressCorps World Headquarters, this is Zero Dark PressCorps. It's a live post-war call-in show, hearing your first-hand accounts and war stories of battles from the previous conflict. So join the Discord right now through the link below. Hop in the general voice channel and get ready to share your stories. Tonight's featured guest, Clapfoot developer, KrazyFlyinChicken. And now, your host, 9-time winner of the Jeffrey Jennings Award for Excellence in Journalism, Jeffrey Jennings.
Hello and welcome to Zero Dark PressCorps, your after-war call-in talk show and just general talk show. I'm not quite sure exactly what we figured this out to be yet. It's been a multitude of things, but truly it's all over. So we can talk about that. But regardless, we're talking about Conflict 30. I might be cutting in and out for the Discord, but for sure I'm going in through the stream. But we talked about Conflict 30 and the insane happenings that happened in that previous conflict, including a complete turnaround of logistics, as well as the crazy map movements, as well as 2 rocket launches we can talk about there, and of course a whole host of people already lining up to call in. Thank you very much. If you're just joining us, go in through the Discord link below and call in through the lounge channel, and we might get to your call. Truthfully, there's a lot of people. We might do 2 at once and just have people ask questions at the same time. But regardless, our special guests tonight are KrazyFlyinChicken, Clapfoot developer. How are you?
Fantastic. 2 at one time. It sounds like everybody's dream.
Indeed.
If only we had Matt here, then you can get 2 developers at one time. You know.
Oh, don't excite me too much. And then also joining us here, commander of the Roughnecks and a press affiliate, is Commnader Rod. Commander Rod, how are you?
I'm extremely excited to be here. It's an honor to be here with the Jeffrey Jennings and with KrazyFlyinChicken.
And you as well, man. It's like talking to a celebrity now.
Please, come on. You guys have created a world where I have the privilege and the opportunity to just, kind of create a little bit of a continuous storyline. It's very much inspired by the work that the developers have put in, and because of Jeffrey Jennings here. If it wasn't for the PressCorps, I wouldn't have had a space in which to put these things to work with. So thank you to both of you.
Absolutely. Lots of love to go around here in the Foxhole community, and I'm certainly proud of it. Happy for it. So let's get right into it. Let's do a brief overview, or rather a brief reaction to the Conflict 30. KFC, what was your impressions of it?
Honestly, I played a great deal of this one. Man, I called this at the beginning of the war. We were sort of up in the air about who was going to win. But I actually, despite playing for the Wardens, I had my money down on the Colonials.
And why is that?
I think historically the Wardens have always been a little bit slower to adjust to new metas, and this patch was definitely shifting.
It was complete, just up and over, just throw the table on the ground.
We need Jimbo in here.
There you go. Actually, I'm curious. Do you have statistics? You don't have to share them, but do you have statistics on how many new people join each faction? Can you confirm that?
No, I don't. We don't have that kind of. Actually, you know what? Mark probably does, but I'm not privy.
Okay. Well, I guess it's a little insight into how well you guys communicate with each other. No, I'm kidding. And then, Rod, were you involved at all with the actual war? Or were you so busy with your theater project here on the PressCorps radio? Did you actually have a chance to participate in the conflict?
I did towards the end of the war. I did, as you know, I'm the leader of the Roughnecks clan in the Warden side. And we did a whole restructuring of how the clan works, especially when working with other clans and when working with logistics and whatnot. We did manage to play a bunch towards the end of the war, and I did spend a good, I'd say a total of 8 to 9 hours. I don't know if anyone can confirm that they saw me, but I was there over in the Warden home region welcoming the new people, the people with no ranks, just trying to let them know what the initial functions of the game are, how to activate push to talk. I had this whole speech written out to try and help everybody. But this war was pretty grueling. It was it was a little discouraging, not gonna lie.
How so?
With the whole the randomized resource nodes. It's something that we have always taken very for granted in the meta of the game, is this idea that both sides are always in equal footing, at least when it comes to the availability of resources and whatnot. And having the randomized resource nodes and whatnot, and the depletable, so to speak, resource nodes really was something that caught us off guard. And as KrazyFlyinChicken said, he knows his game better than me, and absolutely he knows it better than me. I'd expect him to know it better than me. And
he can wreck you in 1v1 Deadlands.
I don't doubt it. But to me, I think what but actually it caught me off guard was this idea that the two factions no longer stand on equal footing when it comes to the resource nodes, and it's not 100% reliant on team communication and teamwork. There's also a degree of luck involved in the logistics, which, as we all know, is inevitable for the successful operation of an entire army. So I'd say that it was a little jarring at first, and definitely frustrating to a degree, but I believe that we will be able to adapt.
And I have an inkling that is exactly what the devs were expecting when introducing this brand new meta. I don't know, I can't speak for them. Chicken?
We were honestly, we made our plans. We even drew up a couple of theoretical world wars that we thought would. But at the end of the day, when we finally pushed out Update 26, we had no idea what was going to happen.
And did any of that play out? Did any of your simulations or scenarios play out?
Surprisingly, yes. Honestly, we felt like a lot of our theories worked out. We got to right about where we expected to be. Obviously, there's still a lot of room for number tweaks, but for the most part, yeah, it worked out.
Well, we'll just have to see what happens next war. As always, the game is in alpha, and it is in early access, and the developers have to keep pace, and they have to keep on pushing out updates. So balance comes as it goes. But that was Conflict 30, and on to the 31st. Gentlemen, what do you think about the upcoming one? What do you think's going to happen here? We got a whole east-west meta here. Southeast Wardens in the east-southeast, and then colonies in the west-northwest. Well, how do you think that's going to play out? Predictions. General predictions.
If I may, I think the whole east-west thing is very fun, with the whole idea of it kind of resembles the Cold War idea of east versus west. I like the little meta commentary, not even meta commentary, but the little lore idea for it. I did see a few people complaining lore-wise. But the explanation of different trade routes and whatnot. Actually, I wanted to incorporate that in one of my future radio plays for Foxhole, with the whole now the division is a little different now. But we'll see how it goes. I actually think that it's interesting. I think it keeps it interesting. As much as it's a little uncomfortable, I think it's interesting. It keeps it fun.
How many scenarios have you mapped out, KFC? You and the dev team.
All of them, and they all point to Warden Victory.
There you go. Back and forth, back and forth. Well, if there's nothing else on the table here to talk about, at least initially, well, actually, you know what there is. Commnader Rod, got to celebrate your project here, your one-man solo project for the Cadmian Theater of the Cadmian Stage of the Skies. That being This Damn Blizzard, available on the PressCorps Foxhole desk, which is the YouTube link, which you can reach that down below. Commnader Rod, just real quick here before we go to callers. We're going to go to callers soon. But Commander Rod, tell us, where did this inspiration come from for all this for this small little vignette of a war story? And can KFC participate in any future ones?
Oh, absolutely. I am absolutely into having as many people that love Foxhole participate into these. Actually, I've been putting out a few casting calls for future iterations. When it comes to where it came from, I think I've always been very big on voice acting ever since I was a kid. I graduated film school last year, and it's something that I've always enjoyed. And after playing Foxhole and having these ever-evolving personal stories be created through gameplay, and I think I speak for any player for a Foxhole when I say that the real story of Foxhole, as much as the lore is interesting and deep and detailed, I think the real stories of Foxhole are created by, two soldiers running together. They discover that they have something in common. They discover that they have both working microphones, and they just decide to push together. They have no idea what they're doing, and they end up joining a bigger operation, and that operation succeeds, and they manage to capture a town, or they manage to stop a convoy, and then they report to someone else who is more experienced, and then it just grows into this ever-evolving personal story of fighting your way through the ranks until you become, quote-unquote, someone of importance in the Foxhole community. And I've seen this story repeat itself over and over again through so many people that I've met in this game. Being a clan leader is something. It allows me to see so many personal stories develop, especially with battle reports and like the stuff that we do here in the PressCorps, talking about the releases and the news wires. I think it's a very personal game, which is why I think the whole interclan politics and the whole like drama stuff that happens, I think that's why it gets so heated, because we are all the heroes of Foxhole. And I think that as much as I might be, a warden, as much as the story that I've written so far is from a warden perspective, I think that in the future, as this progresses, and this is a small announcement that I'd like to make, this damn blizzard is just the first part of a continuous, ever-evolving storyline that will have no true villain and no true hero. The two factions both have very interesting reasons for fighting this war, these many wars.
God damn it, I wish Matt was here.
Right? Oh my god, he wants to gush over it so bad.
Roughneck Cinematic Universe, that's what you want, doesn't it?
Well,
and I won't... I won't belabor his praise because I have a feeling he wants to talk about it on the dev stream, but I think from my perspective, it was mind-blowing, not just for your incredible voice acting, but it was also really, really well, which is impressive. It's not an easy skill to do, to be able to act it out and write it.
Well, thank you. I really, really appreciate that.
All right.
But if it wasn't for you guys' work, I wouldn't even be, I wouldn't have a world to put this stuff in.
Love to go all around counteracting the salt from Conflict 30, but we'll get right back to it. Real quick, we're going to go to callers in just a few moments, but as always, please remember to join not just the PressCorps Discord through the link below, but also we got our doors open here at PressCorps. We'd love to have reporters out on the field. If you want to know what we do, go to the PressCorps Foxhole desk. It has the there's a link to the YouTube channel at the bottom of this Twitch channel, and you can see all the videos that we have so far. And we've actually got a whole slew, I think 10 videos, 10 clan interviews that we haven't uploaded yet, and we had in rotation for PressCorps Radio, and we're gonna be uploading those very soon. And we just love to get everyone's stories, and we love to get as many vignettes and news packages out there as possible, but we need reporters to help us out in that effort. No experience in journalism necessary. This is the least dangerous and least consequential form of journalism you could possibly participate in, so don't worry about it. Anyway, our doors are right open. So, with that being said, let's get right into the calls. First one here, apparently, who's here been for the past several hours, calling in, we're sitting right by his phone, is Lek. Lek, how are you this evening?
Hello, Joffrey. Been a fan of the show for ages. So much so that I prepared a little document for the words I'd like to say regarding War Conquest 30. Now I'm going to go over them briefly, and I would just like to say, starting off, this last war, pretty damn fun. And I know a lot of people have been upset over the whole scarcity issue, especially if you look at Reddit from all those posts. However, I myself am quite a fan of those things, except for the cost. Namely, that one crate of standard battle tank shells costs 34 times more than one crate of mortar shells. Stuff like that, kind of silly, especially when you compare the cost effectiveness. Now there is the idea of, okay, well, it's a battle tank, it should be, like, inefficient because of how powerful it is, and yeah, that holds some weight maybe, but that's a whole balance issue. And then there's also the petrol issue, which can lock teams out of vehicles, and just generally armor being weaker this war has been a bit of a bummer for many, myself included, though not as significantly. And my involvement with the war.
Go ahead.
Oh,
continue.
My involvement with the war so far has been consistent of, this last war anyway, was consistent of the nuking of Stone Cradle, which I know we're all a fan of, especially because it ended the war, or, I mean, that's up for debate, I guess, but, I was also accused at one point of speed hacking by a warden who didn't understand what a human cannon was. Later, I decided to take a relaxing break on the shores of Orbreaker, specifically at Conclave. They got a real nice, vista over there. I recommend it to all my warden friends who care to take over that region at some point. And, there's a lot of stuff that I've been liking and disliking about this war. One thing, though, that this war specifically with the 23 maps has definitely accentuated is the fact of there are so many HQs in the game, as well as forts. And the ability to just run a CV down Partisan Highway and just get a 450 BMATs 70-man spawn behind enemy lines has been a real headache, can I just say.
Just to clarify, when you say headquarters, you're talking about stockpiles, places to spawn, is that correct?
Yeah, the places where you can spawn, and you can
KFC,
spawn with 70 people.
KFC, real quick, what's the internal definition for town halls, the grouping of town halls, forts, encampments? You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, sorry.
It's like spawn locations, or is it stockpiles, or is it headquarters?
I think in the code they're called bases.
Bases, just bases?
Yeah.
All right.
Anything with a stockpile, I think, is a base.
And anything with a stockpile you can spawn in, is that correct?
Not necessarily, because there's cargo ships where you can stockpile, but you can't necessarily spawn out of and stock. I don't know. You'll have to ask Phil.
They used to be the landing ship, I think, but now it's the. Or no, we still have landing ships.
Yep.
Can I continue with the document?
No.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go. I'll give you 30 more seconds with your essay.
No, not 30 seconds. It's real short, I promise you.
Okay.
25 seconds.
Specifically, come on. HQ specifically, we held Viper Pit. There was a fort there we held for a solid 8 hours and purely consisted on stolen items, killing 2 enemy battle tanks and stealing about 10 light tanks. Well, actually not stealing, they were all destroyed. As for, one thing that this war has really opened my eyes up, and honestly, I can't believe I haven't seen it sooner, is the potential for some sort of addition of a long-range, player-designed logistical network where parts of it are unlocked throughout the war. Trains, motherfucker, of course. You think I'm not going to shoehorn them in? Anyway, pre-designed, well, with the randomized logistical spawns for resources, who the hell cares about pre-designed? You're going to complain if you fucking pre-design. But think about how cool. I really like Foxhole because you see different outcomes. There's always a story to tell every different war. But with pre-designed, there wouldn't. But with player-designed, you can think, oh, we built this crazy rail line that went across the entire southern border. Oh, that was so cool. Yeah, you can think about all the fucking amazing stories you'd tell there. Just think about it. It would be great.
Okay, well, to play devil's advocate there, just for a quick. Oh, did he leave? All right. Well, all right. I was gonna engage with him on that, but my hesitation, and I feel bad saying this, talking about this because he can't rebut, but my hesitation with player built railroad tracks where they can go in any direction, do any kind of thing possible, is that it takes a long time to be able to, make a train worth it and connect, I would think a train would be worth it if you connect, I don't know, 3 regions at least minimum, and I don't know. I just feel like if you allow for player build controlled tracks, it's going to be a mess. The people who initially started it and planned for it aren't going to be around to finish it. Although, hey, I completely underestimate people have too much time and don't have jobs. But also, just a lot of issues there. Because to me, trains are like roads. They're infrastructure. You can't make custom-built roads unless that's a thing KFC wants to announce. But you can't custom build roads, and there's a reason for that because that controls the flow of logistics, controls the flow of troop movements, controls the flow of most vehicles. I don't know. Well, KFC, what's your take on that? I know I just kind of spewed a bunch of things out there.
No, I mean, train. I don't know how many. I mean, I guess there's a lot of newer people now in the audience, so maybe you guys haven't heard this. But this is a meme from ages ago, Lek wanting trains really badly, and the official stance on this is from Mark Foote directly. He said we would not consider Foxhole complete without trains. You can take that to mean whatever you want. When it happens is when it happens. But
trains confirmed 2035.
That's all I can really say. But
means
you know,
Foxhole is not complete without the train meme. That's what he means.
Exactly. One thing I would like to say, wait, wasn't it confirmed that trains are 2020 based on the thing, the update where it's
I don't think so. I don't think it was ever confirmed.
It's a land-based cargo container, and I'm pretty sure I think I DM'd Mark or asked him in a non-public channel, and he said trains are 20. Something like that. Though he could have been getting my goat. I don't know. But as for your thing about, like, oh, could players log off, and then maybe you'd see, like, they wouldn't be around to finish it. But that's a good thing, isn't it? There's also your issue of, like, oh, there's terrain and that stuff. Well, you could give players the pieces, like up and down pieces, and limit players from making it going too high, like the way defenses were a long time ago. As well as, like, you can give people bridge pieces, you can give people gate pieces, all different ways to make it so that if you're going to build track, you can build it smart and have it so that it's not blocking defenses or it's not going to get tangled in it. You could also have it the ability to upgrade certain pieces to junctions. So let's say you build the track a wrong way, you can just go back a couple segments, transform it into a junction, and then have it split off a different way that makes more sense.
So factorial.
Yes.
I mean, that is a good groundwork. If you're going to go into trains, Factoria is not a bad way to go about it. What I was saying earlier about people not being around to finish it, let's say someone spends 8 hours planning, building the logistics, because I think it'd just be an expensive item, in the tracks and everything. And let's not even talk about getting into destroying tracks. Just one track can disrupt an entire rail line, as opposed to a road that you can just go around it. But someone spends 8 hours collecting the resources, making the resources, and then putting it into this rail line, and they're not around to finish it. Someone else comes along, finishes it in a completely different way that the original person didn't intend, and then the whole thing winds up being a mess and destroyed, and you've got 50 different ways going outward. What I'm trying to say is, imagine a Google Doc where a person gets an hour to write in it. And then, but no hints as to what they're planning on to do next. And then you do that over 24/7, 3 weeks in a war. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I kind of get it, but at the same time, the way I envision trains is not a single player thing. It's kind of like the idea of how it's kind of the idea of how the way nukes work in this case, where it's like you'd want them to have some form of basically, for me, you'd either limit it so that you can only build track if you have like a certain number of people in the squad or something like that, or you don't even do that and you just make it so that like you make train related clans, and then so you'd have, when you log off, you could say, hey, this is the design we're going for. I have, like, based on the resources we've seen and the like areas we want to build up as a team, please build in this sort of idea or style. And then from there, you might see other people branch out. And the thing I have to say to all of that, like, to other players coming in and, like, designing their own things off of the system you already built is, isn't that cool? Isn't that what you want to see out of a sandboxy style system, is the ability for other people to mutate and transform a system into something that wasn't initially intended? Because if everything goes according to plan, then everything is boring, isn't it?
I think
if I
command-
may, the whole worry about like, oh, what if the person that started it isn't there to finish it? Isn't that what Foxhole is at its core? I believe that Foxhole is not a sprint. It's a rally race. You know, one person takes the baton and starts the race and passes it to the next person. You know, that's something that happens. That's one of the biggest problems that clans have, for example, is the fact that, oh, I don't know who's going to continue doing this thing once all of us, you know, we never know. Like, we just have to hope that whoever's there after we're gone does a good job. And I think that's where the biggest part of teamwork comes in. It's just trusting that the next guy is going to know what you're doing. Now, that being said, there's something about Foxhole's updates. As I've been playing it since I think middle of last year, I think, that changed, and something became missing as time went forward. Back in the day, it was easier to climb mountains and whatnot and use them for high ground advantage. And I don't know if the hitboxes have changed in some way, but I find that it's much more difficult now to find those sweet spots. One thing that I believe would be interesting with trains would be, what if we had trains that go through normally impassable regions? This idea of having choke points where trains will pass through. What happens if you're basically securing locations where very important resources are going to pass through? So fighting over these predetermined railroad tracks would be something that becomes a whole new meta. At the same time that you're trying to protect a town or a refinery or a factory or something like that, you're also trying to protect, the entryways and the exits of, I don't know, tunnels or a train that goes through terrain that's normally impassable.
Perhaps I got
personally. Wait, can I just say one thing real quick to that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And that's personally the idea of the two ideas of player designed and pre-designed aren't mutually exclusive. Like, I think it would be really cool to have certain areas of the map, like, let's say, like, an underground section, or, like, that goes through a mountain, or areas where it would be really difficult for players to build track normally. You could have some segments that are pre-designed, but then that all link back up to a central grid. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on the subject is trains, as we probably want to move on.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up just real quick. Perhaps I got too philosophical to it. What I was saying is that, yes, absolutely, when people build things like a base or a defensive line, they absolutely are expecting other people to finish it in whatever crazy way they deem best. But I don't know, again, just my hesitation simply lies with the fact with how a train works, and is that unlike a road, when a single train track, like 3 feet of train track is gone, the whole train is now inoperable. You cannot move forward, as opposed to a road where you can go off-road for a little bit or something, and maybe get stopped at a bridge. But with a train, it's the entire piece of line, and it needs to be perfect to an extent for it to function. And I don't know. Perhaps we can find it. Okay, we'll close with this, because this one's gone on way too long enough.
I just wanted to say one quick thing.
Yeah, sure.
Again, back on just quickly and finally, with pre-designed and player design, I was more so thinking that you have, like, in each region you have, like, maybe 3 pre-designed routes, and then the players pick which one they do, and then that way, it's harder for the other side to sabotage it, and it's a bit easier to control.
That was part of, that was absolutely it, is that maybe you could have either predestined things that players could choose, or you could have it where you have stations already built all around, like pre-infrastructure, like stations in and around the strategic points, and then the players get to choose where in which they can, how to get to that station.
The thing is that's all very, like, in my opinion at least, not what Foxhole's about. Like, Foxhole, like, thrives on the sandbox stuff, like being able to make a human cannon, being able to just, like, send a fob in, like, this random location, like, just, and what I honestly feel, especially, like, with sandbag walls and the meta that was immediately made after their, like, creation, Because I remember Crazy and Mark had talked about them not even expecting them to be used in the way that they were, and that's all what represents the best part of Foxhole to me. Not like the factories which are like in preset locations, not that kind of stuff.
All right, well, we'll leave it there because we've gone on for long enough. But Lek, thank you so much for talking about this, and I always appreciate the amount of effort you put into these ideas. Truly do.
Well, thank you. Have a good day, Geoffrey Jennings. My favorite winner of the Geoffrey Jennings Award.
No, I did not accept that award. That is an illegitimate. Get the hell out. That's an illegitimate award, and I am suing for commercial appropriations. All right, but the courts are too busy. The courts are simply too busy. Well, let's get in another caller here. Colonial Press's very own Kovac, if I'm saying that correctly. If he's even here on the line with us, Kovac, are you there? Is that how you say that? First of all.
Hello.
Is it Kovac?
Kovac.
Kovac, there you go. Thank you very much. For those who don't know, Kovac has been the Newswire editor for this past conflict, which means everything people write into the 30th press release's Newswire, Kovac then copies, pastes, and re-edits into a separate channel so that I can actually read it. Because my goodness, a lot of you need to take English classes.
It's very enjoyable.
No, I'm just kidding. Obviously,
Hey,
thank you for all your entries.
It's always fun to edit those 5-page long transcripts.
Yeah, in the instructions there is a very specific 200 words or less limit, but people just like to write, which is great. I'm just not going to read them on the air.
Yeah.
That's fine. Kovac, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this conflict and future conflicts?
I really hope they change the war back to the vertical version, like the North to South wars.
Well,
instead.
wouldn't you say it's worth just to experiment like this whole game's been?
Yeah, true, but I mean, it kind of gets rid of all the fun river wars and the bridge battles and all that sort.
I had a bridge battle today.
Ah,
Yeah.
or was it?
I don't know. Actually, looking at the map here.
Shackled Vale, and it was ordered by the Savages. It was awesome.
Huh.
If we look-
Shackled, whatever, I forgot the name.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Shackled.
Is it the Drowned Vale or Shackled Chasm?
Shackled Chasm, there it is. Both of them are like geographical things that go down.
Yeah, you're right. Shackled Chasm is right next to the Drowned Vale.
Yeah.
We're still getting used to all these names. That's fine. There's 23 regions. But with river fights, are you talking about like river gunboat fights?
Like Abandoned Ward and Callahan's Boot and all that. Or there's like the city based on the river.
Yeah, well, I can see a scenario where, say, one side comes from one direction, takes over either the north or the south, and then you still have your bridge battles. It's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's worth a shot.
I had a member, had a friend of mine say today. It just feels weird as a warden, because there was this old adage that we listened to. It was like, if you're not going south, you're going the wrong way, as a warden. If you're not going south, you're not going towards the front. So it's a little weird to get used to, not just going south for a battle.
Well, that's the experimentation of the early access, isn't it?
Indeed.
So another issue I have, I really think they should redo naval battles. Like, they should add more ships, like submarines, more stuff to interdict convoys with and all that. Maybe corvettes and all that fun stuff.
KFC, right now, speaking for the entire dev team, where on the priority list is a naval rework? Confirm, deny right now.
Oh my god. I have been harping on Mark for submarines for ages.
Okay. I have this great idea for balancing them. Maybe you could have like a limit on how long, maybe like have a minute or 30 seconds. Maybe add all sorts of like gizmos, corvettes and all that could happen.
Oh, a minute that it could go underneath?
Yeah.
submerging for a minute and then having to come
Yeah,
back.
that makes sense.
Like
A minute.
like man-powered submarines they had in like the early 1800s.
Well, actually,
They all drowning.
You have to
It's
like
funny,
pedal.
like inside the submarine, there's like 5 dudes just like pedaling really fast. To keep
The Elliptics
going.
class was great.
And it's just
I mean,
left clicking like you're
I
scrapping.
wouldn't mind like some sort of obviously nothing is because like the cargo ship you use that for like obviously a naval landing, but maybe something smaller for logistics. Because obviously with partisans camping the roads with whatever they have, being able to bring in supplies navally wouldn't be a bad idea. I think. I mean, like the land, you can use the barges, but I reckon they're a bit slow, and obviously use them for transporting trucks as well. But like, sort of like a dedicated, like little speedy boat that's got decent carrying capacity, I reckon would be good.
With all this naval rework and a lot of suggestions going around, a lot of people asking for destroyers, battleships, and
Oh,
whatnot.
God.
It's good
Yeah.
it's important to remember that, and I know it's not permanent forever, but the new map has significantly less water to work with in terms of the open seas. It's mostly
That's
river
true.
fights.
I
well,
made
you
a
know,
battleship once.
it'd be cool to see ironclads.
Ironclads?
I think it's
Oh,
important.
that's a Civil War.
Yeah, maybe like a modernized version.
Well,
It's
I mean,
important
the
to
ironclads
restate-
are basically the gunboats with their design. Not gonna lie.
It's important to restate that the reason why submarines is just more like a joke than it is anything else is because we have to remember that Foxhole was originally designed and is going to continue to be, first and foremost, an infantry. While vehicles are an important part of the infantry game, any vehicles that we add are meant to add to the infantry game, not the other way around. So as cool as it would be to have submarines, if, and there's a huge if, such a thing were to exist, there would need to be a strong case that somehow having the submarine will greatly affect that infantry game, and I don't see that happening in the near future.
I think a lot of people just had a revelation. I don't think a lot of people did not know that it was an infantry
Yeah.
game. So I think to a lot of people, Foxhole is more so first and foremost a war simulator, and with war you get combined arms. So a lot of people's interpretation. And it's also partially coming in with the World War II aesthetic, the World Wars aesthetic, I should say, and with the World Wars. Navy and air not infantry things was a huge aspect of the World Wars as well. So I think there was a little, until you cleared it up just now, or however you clear it up in the future as well. I think there was I don't think a lot of people understood that before.
Well, I think you're right, and in that, we want to be as close to a realistic war as possible. But when we think about what Foxhole is on the ground, what it is mentally in our players and it's Saving Private Ryan and its band of brothers. It's told through the eyes of each individual soldier. So if it's a story. If it's a story about a tank, like Fury, we draw on some inspiration from Fury, but it needs to come from that ground up, not from the top down. And I think submarines, I don't see that being like in the mind of a soldier. That's to me more of a grand scale, like theater of war kind of thing.
Well, I'm thinking maybe you could like add. I think I heard something about oil rigs a while back. Maybe you could make those more important, so people, if they interdicted the cargo ships, they could partially inhibit some important offense by cutting off fuel.
Actually, speaking on cutting off fuel, the naval mines. How's that then?
Well, hold on. That naval mines, that's just a suggestion, right? That's not an actual thing yet?
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Incredible.
if you thought landmines were a nightmare.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that?
Oh God.
First of all, they're hidden for the most part, and second of all, yeah, boats are just more expensive.
What about minesweepers?
Second of all, all that work you put in.
I
Yeah,
reckon
say
it should be
goodbye.
like you can't see them until you're pretty close. Because I mean, naval mines they're pretty close to the surface, obviously, in order to actually cause damage to boats.
Yeah, perhaps. Well, Kovac, was there anything else here you had for us?
Nope.
All right, well, thank you. Again, Kovac is the one. Every single Newswire entry that goes in there, Newswire entry, a Newswire available in the PressCorps Discord. It is edited by Kovac, all of them, every single one of them, so I can read it live on the air. Simple and easy. All your grammatic mistakes solved through this man. Thank you very much, Kovac.
See ya.
All right, we're gonna keep going here. Going along. How you gentlemen doing? KFC? KFC, were you? Hold on. Did you just come back from an life event?
Yes, I got married. 3
Wow!
weeks ago.
To a person?
Hey.
No, I'm
To a
kidding.
person, a real one. Yeah.
No, it's not over the internet. No, congratulations. That's incredible.
How much did it cost?
Thank you.
Way
Weddings on
too
Foxhole
much.
confirmed.
Obviously not the
Way
Weddings
too
on
much.
Foxhole confirmed.
Boris is only
You
asking
can
because
get
he
married
has.
to your other soldiers.
He sells or mail order wives. No,
Hey. They're top quality, okay? They're going for sale. Business is booming.
KFC, have you gone on your honeymoon? Are you on your honeymoon right now? What the hell are you doing?
It was our honeymoon. We went and got married in Mexico.
Mexico, okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Insanely pricey. I don't recommend it.
Oh well, where in Mexico, if I may ask?
We went to Cancun.
Yeah,
To
there
a
you
place
go.
called
Oh,
Palace
that's
Resort.
The
awesome.
least Mexico place in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been there as well.
But it was fantastic for our family because we had people with small children and old people that needed to go, so we couldn't really go anywhere. So it was a nice little resort, and it was really, really pretty.
Well,
It
congratulations.
was wonderful. We had lightsabers on the beach. That was one of the highlights for me.
That's awesome. All right, honeymoon over. Let's get back to people complaining about things. WARCORP, you're live on the air here on
Oh, hey,
Zero
what's
Dark
up?
Press
Have
Corps.
people actually messaging me for wives now.
I just got told it all of a sudden, and I didn't know.
WARCORP, you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or just war stories to share about the previous conflict and conflicts in the future?
Oh yeah, crazy. Did you see? By the way, on the subreddit, did you see a giant FMG wall?
Oh God, yeah, that picture in Abandoned Ward. with
Yeah, that was me and another dude named Womb Raider.
Oh, that was so cool.
You
That one
gentlemen
that made circles around the office. Everybody was like, "What the fuck? Why?"
It actually caused the office to go nuts.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of us were like, "Man, we should have some kind of like wall structure that they could just move around, so this doesn't look like storage containers."
Oh god, that was
That's pretty
good.
cool.
So the storage containers being used as makeshift walls and positions and fortifications, that is textbook, not expecting what you think, or the player base just pulling something out of their collective butts and just transforming something you didn't expect it to do.
Yes. At first, by the way, you know how we do it? You know how we did it? At first, we actually had to sacrifice someone to the blood gods in order to do it. At first.
Well, that's just a Tuesday, man.
We had to crush someone at first, but I figured out that you don't have to do that. So, how we did it at first, we actually a person. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I stutter, but anyways, we had at first. Womb Raider actually managed to crush a guy to get an FMG on the wall.
All right. How'd you
It's
convince him to do
beautiful.
that?
Actually, he said he figured it out on his own, but I'm the one who figured out you don't need to do that. You don't need to kill people to get the FMGs on the wall.
All right. Well,
it was
Pro
beautiful.
strats from WARCORP here. Was there anything else you had? Because I know we talked about it in that news package, which is available on the Foxhole channel, Foxhole YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
we won't go too deep into it. But was there anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, TLDR on the wall. It was amazing. Just gonna put it. Also, when are ski troops gonna be added eventually? Will they?
Do we have mountains? Well, we do
can
have
a
mountains.
winter war.
Yeah, we need ski troops.
When Commander Rod does a show about.
Yeah. Anyways, have a good day,
I
guys.
definitely
They'd
gonna
only
do it.
be useful just in the north, though.
Oh wait. Oh
That's
yeah, that's
true.
right.
No, wait. What if you can attach yourself to a motorboat and then ride it on the rivers?
Oh yeah.
There you
that's-
go.
Keys underneath.
Oh wait, hold on.
It's Tony Hawk.
What about
Fox?
bicycle infantry?
That one's been talked about a lot.
The Japanese during World War II had bicycle
Genius
infantry.
idea here.
Okay, so
The Danish had
Genius
bicycle
idea
infantry.
here, right? Attach skis to a motorboat, take it on
Yep.
land, use the propeller to push you across the snow. Genius.
Yup.
there you go. Real quick,
Also-
actual game thing, actual mechanic rebuttal about the bicycle troops is that, to me, bicycle infantry, while interesting and is an actual historical thing if you go into World War history, but with bicycle infantry, I feel like it promotes too much individuality in that, hey, you can build a bicycle and it's just by yourself. Even the motorbike has a passenger car, and it can be used in a variety of ways there. But I feel like if you get bicycle
Give me
infantry,
one of those two-person bikes.
The sidecar.
that'd be very romantic.
Oh no, the tandem bikes. The tandem bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just feel like people will just use, I mean, if anyone's played what's the World War II game that's kind of open world?
Heroes and
Generals, right? So they have bicycle infantry, and
Don't you dare mention that again.
all
please.
anyone ever uses that for, all anyone ever uses that for is just to get from point A to point B, and they ditch it.
I think, hold on, I think bicycle infantry was actually a bit of a meme in the Hoi 4 community for a bit.
Absolutely, until they added it.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Mark has talked about this in the past. Like, what if we got rid of the instant teleportation?
I'm down
Like,
for
you
that.
know how we teleport back by returning to home region, then spawning in wherever the hell we choose. Like, if you couldn't go anywhere, maybe we'd really need a bicycle.
That's true.
Also,
That'd be a
cycling
hell of a
to Jade
compromise.
Cove. Cycling to Jade Cove, that'd be amazing.
That'd be hilarious.
I'd love to see all the
Just
people.
a horde of infantry on bicycles, just cycling all the way to Jade
The
Cove.
Tour de France.
Another elliptical class.
I just imagine.
First one to
Tour de
go,
Farinac.
die by a battle tank.
Tour de Farinac.
I just imagine
Oh
like
God,
at the end of the war,
amazing. The bicycle infantry, if you guys added that, that would create a lot of memes.
Naval bicycle.
Can you imagine like you could throw like sticky grenades off
Those
of
things
bicycles?
Exist, you know?
I know.
Like you can throw sticky grenades off of
Jesus
bicycles, and
Christ,
then like
that
at
would
the
be
end of the
OP.
war, someone in a fucking battle tank just hears this coming, and they're like, "Oh God!"
They just hear
Oh,
the
no.
sound of a bicycle.
They just hear
Tring,
the squeaking pedaling and the ringing bells coming
No,
over
you
the
just-
hillside.
They
you
hear a
just hear
bicycle
this- you
bell.
just hear this, but, like, 50,000 of them. Like,
ting, 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 ting.
You just have that laying around.
Have that. All this
I'm a
bicycle.
bicycle. I need
Ting,
Foley.
ting. Battle tank driver. Dear Neptune.
May I present? May I present? I'm gonna put this in PressCorps internal. The most feared weapon the colonials have, the wardens have to offer.
Did you guys ever play Road Rash?
Oh
No.
God.
Oh no.
Okay, it's
I
a game where you could, like, where it's a race, you know, a bicycle race, but you're kicking the bicyclists that come past you,
Yeah,
and
you
you're like
kick
hitting
the
them with
ever-loving
chains.
crap
Oh
out of
my
you.
God! This sounds like
We
a game
need
for me. A game where I get to beat up cyclists? Yes.
And now we know where he lives.
Where? Where do
Anyway.
I live?
Like fucking Great Britain. Everyone in Great Britain hates
No,
fucking
Australia, you
cyclists.
stupid.
Oh. Okay, yeah, you are Australian. Just calling me stupid and then holding yourself to not say that other word.
I've said a lot of yeses on screen.
I could tell.
Yeah, why don't we have that? Let's get that on the.
Yeah.
in the game.
Onwards, comrades. Yeah,
It's a relic motorboat.
Theater as well. Like.
Could you imagine, like, praying for a relic like a storm tank, and then you come across this piece of crap?
It's a two-seater as well, which is, you know, unrealistic because you can at least fit two people just on the bike plus the sidecar.
Boater cycle. Popsicle. All right. Well, for that, we're gonna have a liquid popsicle next. Hey, best person to make a pun in the chat. You're next on the call. All right. So thank you very much,
Yeah,
WARCORP. We
gotta
duly
get
appreciate it.
these callers.
See you guys.
All right. Here's where we start to deteriorate. 128th AR for the Artillery Regiment, liquid popsicle, joining us again.
Hello! Hello. How are you all on this fine evening?
Alive.
Yeah, good.
Doing well.
That's-
KFC's riding on the
that's
high,
a
I
good
think.
thing to be.
Riding on that honeymoon high.
Mm.
Maybe,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I've only been dating her for 15 years, so what?
Aw.
Did you get a tan? Did you get a tan?
No, I burn. Okay.
Crispy
I
flying
just-
chicken.
Oh,
Oh,
tan
I
reveal.
become a lobster,
too.
and then I go back to being pig.
Tan reveal.
Oh, I feel
You gotta
that.
do a tan
I've,
reveal now.
I've been doing some work outside the past couple of days, and I'm a lobster. And, like, just walking around, it hurts. So,
Can imagine.
I feel that.
Liquid, was there anything you had here talking about Conflict 30? Any questions, comments, or concerns?
So, I know the past Conflict 30, I'm pretty sure one of my officers sent you a message. He told me he did, KFC, and it was concerning the lack of resources for us. Eventually, we just dropped out of the war entirely because, I mean, one, a lot of us did have things to do. That's also why I haven't been as active as I wanted to, writing the radio dramas, which is hopefully something I'm going to get into here soon. But we can't, as much as we want to, we can't reasonably sit at a sulfur node and wait and take it from people who need it for their tanks, from people who need it for their FAs, when what we're going to do is build a 6 howitzer battery, which isn't going to do much more than hold the line for an hour and a half. And with how many HE mats we use, because, you know, we'll go through anywhere from 400 to 800 shells in one session, it takes a sulfur field and a half, easy, just to supply what we do. And we can do this on our own, but we can't in our right minds do it while taking it from people that could be more productive with it, like our tanks.
But before we pass it to KFC and his comments on that, real quick, how many how many sulfur nodes did you, as the AR, have available to you during your operations?
So, during our first operation, we actually we spent hours, and I mean hours, waiting for sulfur to respawn, taking it, refining it, and of course we have to get there faster than everybody else and strip mine it to where we can get.
How many nodes? 2, 3, 4?
So we used about 3 nodes, preparing ammunition, and that's another thing. We can't store it anywhere safely, because if you put 40 crates of howitzer ammunition in a stockpile or in a depot, someone was going to see that on the map and they're going to say, hey, I can take that to the front line and make use of it, which of course I have no problem with. You know, the need to be able to disperse stuff like that, but when we can't stockpile enough ammunition to just get up and go, we can't schedule operations and we can't do what we do. So we've been in a quite a bit of limbo recently as far as artillery is concerned, and we have seen our press correspondents out in the field, and as much as we'd like to spend time with them, we just can't.
You'd love to shoot them, is what you'd like to do. But anyway,
maybe.
KFC, you got any comments on that?
What happened to it being the safest profession in the world?
Who the hell said that?
You did!
Oh, right. Oh, safe from criticism.
He
Safe
lied.
from criticism.
From the very beginning.
Physical safety, you're screwed. But in terms of criticism, it's slow.
Oh,
low.
work safety. Nobody's gonna try and take your job. That's
Right.
for damn sure.
Yeah, there you go.
No, honestly, I'm pretty sure that whenever he hears artillery fire, he thinks it's us and starts running. Like,
Mari may believe that.
didn't
For
we
real.
put him out of a job? How's
For
it
real.
doing?
I love the artillery regiment. Actually, I was around during its first inception. I was there in, I think it was Deadlands. You guys were setting up your very first 6 gun battery, and you guys were just calling for more people. And I was there when you guys were creating this, and I loved it. I loved that you guys had that, and then it got bigger and bigger, and you guys had like 14 gun artillery batteries, which was insane.
That's more of a meme than anything, because to be completely honest, when you have 14 guns firing at once, the ammunition draw is insane.
I'll bet, and I'm sure the HE mat requirement is not helping that.
And one thing I'll say, one thing I appreciate about the AR is that they, for everything they fire, they mine and create themselves. They don't just go into a random town, take 20 crates of shells, and then start popping off. They make those shells. I do appreciate that.
That is very respectful.
Not that everyone has to do that. It is communal. Not that everyone has to make their own stuff in order to use it. But when you're using 14 guns, that is considerate. That is polite.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just like we started just pulling the ammunition that we could, and running 2 guns, 4 guns. That's fine. because it's one of those situations where, hey, we're not being a clan. It's just a bunch of guys doing this to have fun. We can find the ammunition we can, and we can meme around with it. But when you
it's
start
harder
actively
nowadays.
doing it, yeah, it's definitely harder. And another thing that I want to talk about, I haven't really given Crazy a chance to talk yet, but a lot of our guys have been really concerned because now, on top of the difficulty acquiring ammunition, one thing that's been a major issue for us the entire time we've been going is that FA has the same range as Howitzers, and normally you wouldn't think that'd be too much of a big deal, but FA can move, and FA has more health, which puts Howitzers in this position where, they can very easily be taken out. Also, we've had whole batteries, full 6-gun batteries taken out by a single mortar shell before. And it is absolutely heartbreaking when you set that up and you're ready to fire, and some cheeky guy from the other team gets a mortar just barely close enough to drop one shell right in the middle of it.
Well, hold on, wait, real quick. For that last specific story, wouldn't you say that's because you put all your guns right next to each other?
We've found a solution for that. We have, but I'm sure you've seen how large our batteries get, but with the concentration of mortar fire, you wouldn't expect one mortar shell landing in the center of it to splash and completely kill, all those guns at once. And it runs in a situation where there's no way for stationary artillery to be effective when its range is equal to or shorter than mobile artillery.
Right. So what you're saying, one single mortar shell took out 6 howitzers?
Yep.
How?
Twice.
I can't. That doesn't. Wow. Okay. I can imagine. I could totally get it taking out 2, maybe 3. Are they in a circle and they're all touching adjacent?
The way we used to do it, we would
was there a buff to mortars that I missed?
Fire. But no, they landed a mortar shell right in the center of it, and it destroyed every single howitzer in one shot.
If mortar blast radius hasn't changed, to me that still sounds like you guys put them to. I wasn't there, but
they were with the meta we were sitting at. They were definitely too close together for the way we should have been doing it. And
I'm not saying they have to be 50 feet apart, but just maybe not directly adjacent.
Oh yeah, no. If KFC, I don't know if you've seen any of our recent battery designs, but there's one thing that's really cool that Foxhole, it's one of those inadvertent things that turns out really nicely. We've started actually putting sandbags in between each gun.
That's smart.
And with how much sandbags absorb damage, we come under fire by one howitzer, and it takes them 5-6 minutes. Especially now with the lack of ammunition, they'll burn through all their ammunition trying to kill our battery and only take out 1, maybe 2 guns, because the sandbags just eat up all the damage.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
But
yeah, and I understand why you need to keep them close together. So that's actually a pretty clever, pretty clever solution to.
But just having the FA in that position where it can just barely creep into our range and take out 1-2 guns at a time, because the FA's firepower is strong enough to take down that sandbag in one hit. And with how precise it can fire, each gun takes 1 shot, and even if the sandbags prevent it from spreading to other guns, every time they creep into our firing range and fire, which of course they can get numbers before they do that, they can take 1 howitzer out and then back out before we can even do anything. So, keeping the Hawkeye, making sure we can see everything, owning the zone, as Jeffrey likes to say, it does help. But when we're sitting so close to the front line, trying to give our infantry support, which is hard to communicate with, and monitor the safety of our battery at the same time. That's another thing I wanted to say. Infantry support, as far as that goes, it'd be really nice to have something that they communicate with us with, or communicate with any other artillery with, if artillery does become longer range, and that could be spotting smoke, which we've done before. It's really cool when we pull it off. But if you just have really cheap smoke grenades that you can throw to mark targets, that could be useful for more than just artillery.
I know that the battle tanks have different kinds of shells. KFC, can you speaking on behalf of the entire dev team, confirm or deny right now? Can you say if there's any talk about any other kinds of shells for other types of weapons?
Maybe an artillery.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
That there's talk about it. That there is talk about it.
There's no question we're definitely gonna we want more shells for different types of things. There's we've heard the suggestions of green ash shells and stuff. All of it all sounds fantastic, and honestly, it wouldn't even be that hard to implement at this stage. But we're not ready to start building on content. We're still interested in building systems. So we have a system in place for alternate ammo. We can add ammo anytime, but let's build on other systems first to make sure that that's not just going to change at some point.
Oh yeah, I completely understand that. But we're probably going to be on a bit of a hiatus until then, because with the way until we get some kind of rework with that, we're going to be doing other things. I know this past war, we did do some really cool logistic stuff, like pre-packaging entire containers to where we could just set up a fob in one go. But we're just waiting for something new in the realm of artillery, really.
Yep, understood, and I sympathize with you. Actually, I think the direction, I don't want to say things are coming, because I have no idea with timeline. But the direction we want to go is that the problem we're seeing with the Howitzers is that Howitzers are fine in the early game. We see people building shells because it's literally the only artillery piece you have. Mm-hmm. And so we've seen people spam artillery to go knock down a town hall because it's the only way they can get it down at maximum range. So it's not a problem at the low level. But then you get to the end game, like you were saying, and it's you can't justify building howitzer shells with HE. And similarly, it's the same problem with the tanks. You can't justify building light tank shells if you're just gonna build heavy tank shells, right? It just what you're using your HE mats for shifts based on what the tech tree is set at. And that's stupid, and we don't like that. And I think the bottom line is we really just don't like the tech tree, at all. We don't even want a tech tree. I think when you think about what the future, the direction that we're going for, try to think more along the lines of something like Star. If you go back to the original StarCraft, it wasn't like you went to a separate screen and started clicking on things you were researching. You just had prerequisites. If you wanted fire bats, you needed to build I can't even remember a forge, right? And then that's what we'd like to move more towards. And when that happens, then we can see something like these howitzers and coming back to prominence. We can see all the different choices being made, because we can more easily balance it. It's not just a yes or no, this takes HE mats or it doesn't take HE mats, right?
Will you say more of a tech web that players can choose in any direction, as opposed to a specific tree where you have to go through certain items to get to another?
I'm gonna leave that without answering too much. I just want you to forget a tech tree at all. Try to imagine a game of Foxhole where there is no tech tree at all. It just doesn't exist. And what ideas really does the community think about that and give us suggestions for that, because that's where our head is at. So we just don't even want a tech tree.
Is it also
sweet?
There you go. Roam with
I
that,
think
everyone.
Who's excited for that.
I think so too. Real quick, would it also be accurate to say that that you guys would intend for every item, weapon, vehicle in the game, you would like it to stay relevant at all points in a war? Would that be safe to say? Yes. Okay. So
absolutely,
nothing is ever obsolete, even down. Well, I mean, okay, easily. Actually, a case for this is the rifle. The rifle is never obsolete because it's such a well-rounded weapon. Additionally, it's so cheap to make. But things like, say, an armored car, then you kind of have a ugly stepchild there, where it's well, at some point it becomes obsolete. Not by design, but by the design of other things. So yeah, I'm harping down on my own thing here, but yeah, okay, that's really eye-opening. A lot of revelations here tonight on Zero Dark PressCorps. Thank you so much.
What you can do in that aspect is do what many countries did in real life. It's just modifications. Maybe
variants.
Outgun the armored car. But I mean, yeah, this is gonna get even crazier though. Maybe an armored car. Let's go to an anti-tank rifle as a main gun.
Yeah, and let me clarify here, because I don't want to dwell on this for too long.
Right.
But
yeah, we'll wrap it up. After
you guys,
this call.
understand that what I'm saying here isn't. I'm not trying to to tell you guys what's coming. I'm not trying to hint at anything. None of this stuff is planned yet. All I want to do is, for me, it's try to set you guys' expectations. I want you guys to know where the conversations are at, so that you're giving the correct kind of feedback and suggestions. Like, if without this kind of information, like, you guys are still going to be giving us like, well, this should be moved up on this point of the tech tree, and this needs to be moved around, or maybe we need a web, and all of that. Like, without understanding that, we just hate the tech tree altogether. Like, it's completely worthless to us. So just try to take this very, very, like, very top down, that our conversations are revolving around this, but absolutely none of this is confirmed.
Okay. I don't know.
Thanks.
I feel like
I just had to make sure that was a big disclaimer underneath there.
I feel like the devs need a blog or something. I don't know. That would help.
They
Really
could
get in your
start a
guys'
Trello.
mind. Yeah.
Seen that
Yeah,
before.
I reckon. I got a name for it. They could call it a dev blog.
Nah, shut up. All right, Liquid, thank you so much. Duly appreciate it. Yeah, good luck to the AR in the future whenever they decide to come back and join in. We love seeing them out in the field. We just don't like seeing their shells out over our heads. So thank you very much, Liquid.
All right. Have a nice night, boys.
See ya.
All right, well, we've got over 20.
That was pretty cool.
We have over 20 people in the call, and I don't know who's next. Actually,
Can you?
Yeah, go ahead. What's
I
up?
have a request. Can you bring Lock?
All right, Loxen, you're live on the air here on Zero Dark PressCorps. KFC, you want to take this one?
Yeah, Loxen. I just wanted to, like, I think that you deserve, like, like a standing ovation for all the... Loxen here, if anybody doesn't know, has been heading up the help group. If you guys have seen these guys follow, like, in-game, they have the help tag around their, or like a clan tag, but they're not, and they've, for the entire sale, so, like, for the last 2 weeks, these guys have just been in-game helping people. Like, you don't know how many of these Reddit threads we've seen. They're just praising, like, oh, I had no idea what was going on in the game, but then there was a guy at the home region that told me what to do. And, like, there's no other game in the world that has this. It's insane, and I just wanted to really thank Loxen for putting all that together.
It's a tradition.
dude.
It's a tradition that stretches back for well over a year now, of the Foxhole community coming together and teaching new people every sale and every big update to just sitting at the home regions or home region and just teaching people like an assembly line, and just the enthusiasm there is amazing. And now it's finally coming together in an official. I mean, there's been many other groups before, groups that I've even been a part of, but Loxen coming together here with HELP. What does HELP stand for, real quick? HELP?
HELP stands for, am I even on?
Yeah, you're on.
Yep.
Oh, okay, just double checking. Yeah, HELP stands for, helping everyone learn to play. Now that's just so simple, but it's like the fundamental, it's like, yeah, actually just to go off of what Crazy was saying, like, people just standing around going and doing things. It's like, some of us have been doing this since, before the sale, like even like years before, in the lobby island, and it's like, oh, hey, there's a new rank. And then, hey man, you know what you're doing? Oh, you can't even talk. Hey, press T, hold T. Here, oh, try local all. And they're like, oh, hey, thanks, man. It's like, you know what, that's really helpful. That's like, there's a sense of community. That Foxhole, I'm convinced that Foxhole is a social game more than a war game. And, having people to be there to talk and to just be available, that's such a thing, because there's such a huge learning curve to this game. The tutorials are kind of there, and no blame to the devs. They're definitely busy cranking out all the content that we need and we want. But even the player-made content, all the player-made tutorials, like they only can go so far. The little quick, what to do tab when you first join, and it shows you all the list of things you could do. That could even be a little overwhelming, trying to figure out and try this, and then your little help screen goes away, and it's like, oh crap, what else was I supposed to do?
So then, Loxen, so let's say you've got someone who has just bought the game, they've just installed it, and they've just gone through the main menu, and now they are at the island. Regardless of what faction they are, they're at the island, no idea what the heck's going on, and you run into them. What's the opening line you'll use?
I'll just say hey man, what's up? hey, you look like you're new. Do you know what you're doing? Hey, why don't you go ahead and hold T to speak if you have a mic. Or if you don't, you can press local all. Here, just press enter and tab a few times. Then I'll type it in, and I'll say like this above my head. And it's some of them respond, some of them don't respond, and that's fine. We're here to help. We're not here to force and crowd and get to the tent. I want to show you something. No, it's like, hey, I'm here. We're assisting. And a lot of the time that friendliness, actually, it's like what I wanted to say was like what Crazy was saying. It's like no other game does this. Like some people even were coming to me and asking like, what are my intentions? What do you mean? I'm helping.
Yeah,
I want to help teach the players how to play the game.
I got a lot of people coming up to me. Two things. One, I got a lot of people coming to me and saying like, "Oh shit, I thought there was a tutorial. Like, I didn't think it was an actual player talking." And
Oh, right.
And then other people come up to me and they're like there was this dude called something Grub or something, and he talked like an orc, like a green skin from Warhammer. And he was just typing. No, he was actually using a voice chat. Do not listen to him. He just wants to bring you into pyramid scheme. To make you work logi mines.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'm just trying to help. Like, these people have no idea what they're doing, and like, it's a hard game to start. And sometimes you gotta be the change you want to see in the community, and I think that's why I admire help so much. Because you guys are like at the forefront of changing the community towards less toxic. Because let's agree, there are some pretty freaking toxic.
Well, it's funny too because like toxicity is such a buzzword. I don't care what anyone says. It's just easy to throw out because it's like the thing to do. It's like if you if you have any opposition or any opinion or negativity, it's like, oh, toxic, yeah, it's like no. The funny thing though about help is, by design, it's just a community thing. Like, there's these people who already have a heart, who've already been doing this, and I've been doing it, like, for years as well. And the thing is like, time and time again, I'm doing this, and it feels, like, so lonely, and having those random people like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, you're an idiot. Don't do this. Let them figure it out themselves. It's like, what? I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to help these people. And, what I wanted to do was to get this group together, especially for the sale and the Steam Summer Sale and the update. I knew the update was going to bring a lot of vets back and a lot of new people, just random people. So we wanted to get behind that and like just be prepared and get ready for that. And a lot of people, a shout out to all the people who have joined and who wear the tag and who just want to help. A real shout out to Insta from the Warden Navy. He's been there since like day one and been working hard, just as hard. Pardon me for a moment. So I wrote down the community thing because I wanted to see about recruiting more helpers. So I put it in community
resources.
Community resources, and it's funny. Like a bunch of these new people join. I didn't even plan on these new people joining and like, hey, how do I do this? What do you mean? You're not here to help? No, I need help. Okay, we have to redesign what we did here. All right, guys. Anybody here to help? Explain. So there's like, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, KFC. Well, first of all, were you finished up basically? Because I seriously, I could go on all day because this is truly unique in at least in my game experience. I've never really experienced anything quite like it. I've played other MMOs, but nothing quite to this degree where you have someone waiting around at the lobby just waiting to help. So again, thank you, Loxen. KFC, is it safe to say, however, that from a design standpoint, you would like to get to a point where you like to get to a point where people don't have to do that anymore?
No, it's our secret desire to confuse and confound as many people as possible.
Okay.
No, like for real, I've been going through our emails like for the feedback stuff, and man, there's so many people who are demanding a tutorial. They're like, I have no idea what's going on, and I'm completely lost, and they need help. Which is why which is why this help group has been such a big help to us.
Mhm.
But we had,
It's
like,
been a big
there are other
help
games
to
like
you
this,
guys.
like ours, that are so intensely complex that there's no tutorial imaginable that could properly outline it. And I feel like that's more exciting to us than stopping and building a tutorial and worrying about the new player experience. We do worry about it because it's important to indoctrinate new people into the community, but we don't want to let that be the thing that limits us in the game. Like, we don't want the game to be, we don't want to be like, should we do this? It's really complex and it might be hard for people to grasp. What we've found is that we can't overestimate our user base. Mark always gives the example of when we first released the field artillery. It required 2 players to fire, one person controlling range and one person to move it. And there was a big debate internally about whether the players would be able to figure this out. And you guys know today that now we have battle tanks with 5 players, so obviously the players can figure it out. And we know that the kind of people who are going to enjoy Foxhole are the kind of people who want to figure it out, who are excited by the confusion, or not the confusion, excited by the complexity. So we're not terribly concerned about a tutorial at this stage, but we will definitely need one around 1.0.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it almost acts kind of like a filter to an extent of like, hey, this is what you're expecting. There's a lot here to grasp, and it's fun, and we'll give you a little help, but you're not going to get a step-by-step 30-minute introduction video. Well, I mean,
not from us, from Loxen maybe.
Yeah, from YouTube, but certainly maybe not from the game. Not from the game itself. All right. Any suggestions on who to take next? I'm essentially just kicking that can to you guys.
I saw someone in chat say that Serenity.
Serenity, WGA. All right, yeah, why not? Serenity, WGA. You're live on the air here on Zero Dark PressCorps. Any questions, comments, or concerns for us? Actually, first of all, what does WGA stand for?
The Warden Guardian Angels. Somewhat older, but not really clan. We were around just before Jade Cove, and then we kind of disbanded after the friendly fire incidents. I was on interviews with that a couple times, but, you know, that just kind of died down after the end of the war. We restarted it at the middle of World Conquest 30, and, yeah, we've just been kind of going strong.
All right, yeah, you had any plans for 31?
Well, just try and gather up some newer recruits from the sale, recruit them into at least some sort of clan if they want to, train them to not suck at the game, basically. We actually have a few clans working together on the Warden side on a Discord server, a couple of them, to help the newbies out from the sales and, you know, just help them learn the game, learn the logistics, learn strategies, and all the other mechanics in the game.
All right. Well, that's great. Thank you so much. Good luck to you on WGA in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good one. Well, let's see. We'll keep going here. KFC, how much time you got left here for us?
I'm good.
You're good?
It's Friday night.
Just keep going along.
On a short week. I'm happy.
That's great. And you catch you on more honeymoons.
Okay,
Actually, no, don't.
You guys are still on Friday. I'm in the future.
Yeah, very drunk future. Real quick, seeing a lot of talk about chat, because WJA is one of the, we have to talk about this, is one of the infamous clans in the sphere of influence, and the circle of influence that did involve the Jade Cove missile crisis, and the whole, and we won't go into that hullabaloo. What I'm trying to say here is that the PressCorps did a report on that whole incident about 24 to 36 hours after the incident transpired. We talked to as many people as we could, as many people that were willing to talk to us in the aftermath of that, and those were the cleanest facts we could get in those 24 to 36 hours. I'll link it on in the Spotlight channel, and you can access that through YouTube as well. Actually, I need to transfer a few videos over to the other YouTube channel, but you can, if you have any questions there, go over there and know that we did that 36 hours after which. Boris, did you help out with that? I want to say you did.
I believe I did something.
Yeah. I feel like you drank. You drank and then you held a few
I
of
did
us.
That. No, I did that like last weekend.
Okay. And the weekend before. Well, anyway, we'll take another call
Yeah,
here.
year 12 formal and after parties.
We'll take another one here. Fan favorite, I Saw a Bear, joining us now here on the PressCorps.
We got a
Zero Dark PressCorps.
celebrity in here.
Can I
Yes,
have your
hello.
autograph?
Hey, you caught me at a slightly bad time because I'm currently working on a uniform, but yes, hello.
Are you like a physical uniform right in front of you?
Yeah, sure, let's call it that.
Okay.
It's cosplay.
Okay.
You should, if you haven't seen I Saw Bear's cosplay from last year at PAX, it was incredible.
What was he?
I don't know what he
Warriors?
was.
I was Elder Maxon from Fallout 4, and holy crap, that coat was heavy.
I can
How
imagine.
about warm as hell?
Oh, Elder Max. So he
Actually,
wasn't, he didn't have the
wasn't
power
that bad.
armor.
It was actually a decent amount of airflow because it was open all the time.
Okay.
But yes, and I also slaved away over a laser rifle for a month, and it was painful. Anyways, Fox.
Yeah, Foxhole. Bear, did you participate in this last conflict here, Conflict 30?
Yes, I did. I participated fairly regularly, not like 24 hours a day or anything, but I got in hours where I could. I sort of dropped off a little bit at the end, but yeah, I was in it for a good amount of time.
Did you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or war stories here to share with us?
Oh, I got plenty of stories. Plenty of war
Top of your
crimes,
head.
but we're gonna ignore those. They never happened. They
The
don't
what?
exist. War crimes.
Oh.
Quite a few. But who's keeping count at this point, right? I was telling a story in the lobby, but I found it honestly one of the surprisingly fun things I had, especially in the early stages of the war, was just watching partisans on the radio behind enemy lines. I would just see a single radio tower on an enemy supply route, and I watch green triangles come into that watchtower radius, and then I would see 3 blue circles jump it, and then the triangle would turn blue, and then they would be somehow driven into the middle of the lake, and that was it. And it was great, and that just happened several times in a row, and it was great to watch.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that was one of the surprisingly fun things.
I have a question for you, Bear.
Yes.
You had a discussion on Reddit about fuel shortage being a symptom of a problem, but not an actual problem. And I read this, but I had a hard time understanding this. Could you go over that?
Okay, I'm going to try to explain. So, I think while there is definitely shortages, I think a lot of those fuel, especially petrol shortages, will be solved, hopefully, with the introduction of oil. But at the same time, I think a lot of people felt there was a problem due to, tanks and battle tanks. Like, I feel that a lot of people feel currently, and I have some people who have agreed with me, saying that battle tanks are only able to be countered by other battle tanks, and because they run on petrol, if one side doesn't have petrol, then you don't have a counter to battle. And I was suggesting that perhaps, I recall the devs saying that they were thinking or planning on introducing a field AT gun, much like a field artillery piece, but it's more direct fire rather than arcing fire, and that would directly counter battle tanks. Now, if that were the case, they presumably wouldn't run on petrol and would be a non-petrol required counter to battle tanks, which I think might alleviate some of the stress that was caused by not having petrol. It's a suggestion. I'm not saying it's the answer, but that was my 2 cents on the matter.
Okay. It sounds very similar to the complaint that Liquid Popsicle was having about the sulfur. Basically, he was saying that like his howitzers weren't howitzers he could use in the early stages of the war, but he wasn't allowed to use them in the late stages because it was because there were better things to use.
Okay.
Does that sound right, or am I still off base here?
I think that's a slightly different problem. That's something falling out of use rather than a use that's not being met, I guess. I think it's difficult to compare the two, but
Okay.
hopefully enough people get my silly side idea that the message gets through. I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to write another write up and not do it at 6 o'clock in the morning before I go to work.
That'd be good. Or DM it to me. I'd love to read it.
Sure, I'll think of words.
I have to start planning packs, Bear.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Which one?
I'm
Which
always
packs?
planning on that.
Yeah, so we are. I should probably mention this to
Yeah, go
everybody
for it.
else. We're going to PAX in September. PAX. Bear will be there.
You cut off for a
PAX
second.
West.
PAX West. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, PAX West in Seattle. It starts at the beginning of September. Bear will be there, so fabulous celebrities will be there. Mark, myself, and a couple of the other developers, as well as a few other people from the community. Hopefully Loxen as well. And if you guys want to come to PAX to meet us, or just hang out or whatever, send me a message on the Discord so I can get you the right roles, so I can start pinging you. Even if you're just thinking about it, let me know so I can add you to the group. If you don't have tickets, don't worry about it. I do have spares. And if you don't have a place to stay, you can also talk to me about it, but that's a little bit more like I have some solutions for you, but we'll have to discuss it. So if you are interested,
share a room with KrazyFlyinChicken, ladies.
Bottom line is, if you want to go to
you
PAX,
cut off fat ladies, which only made that better.
Bottom line is, if anybody's out there who wants to go to PAX or is planning to come to PAX, please send me a message.
And if you're a cosplayer going to PAX, don't be better than me. I worked very hard on this.
Have you had KFC? Have you had any Foxhole cosplayers come to PAX? Because I know there was that one cosplayer who won, I think, second place in the contest, which was great. I love that. I love that cosplay. Is there anyone who showed up at PAX?
Well, I mean, Bear came as the Fallout guy, but we also had Anklet and Loxen show up as with their army gear. I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it cosplay. It was definitely like themed towards like the colonial stuff, but it was more like they wore their military.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to have hammers next time. I think that's the basic. That's the big one.
Yes.
Just big ass hammers or a pistol that's ridiculously oversized.
That's the bar there. If you don't have a hammer, it's not Foxhole cosplay.
That's true.
We bring in a BT.
Cardboard.
Yeah,
Cardboard BT that fits 5 people.
I've seen similar
they need
things.
5 people to carry it in.
Hey,
then we get ambushed by a bunch of partisans.
What would be the best Foxhole cosplay? Just a watchtower and everyone just tries to beat it.
I think something that'd be really cool for sorry to kind of deviate from cosplay. I'd really love to have like little models, like collectible models from the game. Like little BTs, like 3D printed BTs.
Well, there was that one guy who did them, right?
I'll pay money for that.
Klaus.
Oh, Loxen in chat says he had binos. Okay, that's fair. That counts.
All right, yeah, right. I guess that's cosplay.
He's in office, though. Okay. Flexing on us.
They are the single most important item in the game, guys.
Well, yeah. How else are you supposed to see past 20 meters? KFC. Philosophical question on the game. Actually, no, maybe not. Do you guys ever feel like you wish you didn't go isometric point of view? Or
hell no! I'm so glad we went isometric point of view.
And you're locked in on that. You no regrets whatsoever.
None whatsoever. I'm so happy. I love it because
first-person shooter.
I love it. Well, I mean that's
rare
the thing,
first-person shooter.
If we made it a first-person shooter, then we're going to be drawing in players who play first-person.
That's true.
And they're not the kind of people who are going to like this kind of game.
No.
Exactly.
The kind of people who are going to like Foxhole are the people who look at RTS games and think that's. So when they see a top-down shooter, they go, "Hey, that I liked Company of Heroes. Maybe I'll like Foxhole," and they definitely will because there's way more overlap there.
Worked for Helping Hans.
That's exactly how I got Foxhole. A mate of mine gifted it to me, and I thought it was like Men of War, but it's a constant ongoing war. And I was like, "Oh no, it's an actual MMO."
It kind of is an RTS. Honestly, I really subscribe to the. There are multiple ways to look at Foxhole. One of them, absolutely legitimate way, is to think of it as an RTS. It really is.
RTS, MMO RTS. Like,
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
don't know any other games that can really fit that category. I mean, a lot of what got me into Foxhole was when I first saw it, my brain instantly said, "Oh, this is my new PlanetSide 2," and hopefully.
God,
it's not
I was going to say that. I was
pay to
gonna
win.
say PlanetSide 2.
Yeah, that was my in for it. I saw it at the booth at PAX. Go figure, and it's like, yep, this is an easy buy for me.
I used to do.
And well, to be fair, at the time it was free because it was the alpha, but eventually, yes.
I used to do field reporting for PlanetSide 2.
You actually wait.
Yeah, I'm Radio Free Araxis. I was Radio Free Araxis back in the day.
Wait, what?
Holy
Yeah,
fuck!
that's
I
me.
listened.
What?
Motherfucker!
That's me. You don't know? You know
I'm
that?
sorry. No, I didn't know.
I didn't
that.
even play.
God
Dude,
damn
I
it.
don't even
Hold on.
play PlanetSide of it.
Hold on. There's some. Holy shit.
Go to Radio Free, the Radio Free Araxis YouTube. Listen to any. Go to the first video you find. And so this is Radio Free Araxis. I'm Captain in Arms. Here is your stories for whatever. I did those.
You damn bastard. I've always been your fan, and now I'm making
Oh my
content
god.
for you.
This is
Wait,
like a massive
You're
revelation
auditioning
here.
for
Holy
my
shit.
goddamn show, and I'm your fan? Fuck off.
Lots of revelations today here in the studio.
Yeah,
Pardon my French.
Yes.
Pardon
I
my
thought
French,
this was common
Jeffrey
knowledge.
Jennings.
I've mentioned it casually multiple times. Maybe not here, but
Just
in the
humble
chats.
brag. I was, one of the most influential PlanetSide 2 fucking
Oh,
players.
no one
dude.
watched that. No one watched
Oh,
that. That was a
shut
novelty.
your mouth. Like, all of the people in here reacted with glee the second you said that. Don't you dare tell me.
Well, yeah, this is a Foxhole crowd now.
I've never like actually heard your broadcast before, but I have heard that name. Like you said it, and I was like, hey, I know. Like I don't know where I heard it from, but I definitely did.
That's actually, if you find, yeah, this PressCorps has been in development in one way or another for a long time. But anyway, yeah. Bear, is there anything else you had for us?
I mean, there's a lot I could talk about.
I'm sure.
I guess quick discussion. Character slowdown when being shot. Y'all like it, or do y'all want something else? This has been brought up to me multiple times.
It's realistic. No, I'm kidding.
I feel as though you get slowed down just a bit too much. Maybe I like the slowdown, just I think it's too much.
It's a complete
I would counter that with the slowdown should depend on the caliber of the gun that you get shot with.
Like a stopping power.
Actually, yeah.
I had an alternative to slowdown, which I still am pioneering. I don't know. I am suggesting that instead of a slowdown mechanic, how about it just cuts your stamina by a certain amount? Because then, once you get your stamina cut, or if you've been sprinting for a long time and you get shot, then your character runs out of stamina and he falls down. That way, it turns it into a punishment for getting shot, into a how much do I want to run and risk falling down after being shot? Because then it's about positioning rather than just getting the first shot off.
And then have the amount of stamina cut based on the caliber.
Yeah, you could absolutely do it that way too. Because then, I think it would be a great change. And like I said, if you leave cover and instantly get shot, you have a chance to still fall back to cover and survive.
That is
Whereas in the current system, it's like, oh, I got shot. I guess I'll just take that second one and respawn.
How about if we're spitballing? How about like a sprint debuff where your bar is permanently reduced until you're fully healed, or something like that? Actually, KFC, have you thought about debuffs? Maybe not like an area of effect thing, but in terms of player buffs and maybe not buffs, because that gets dicey and other things. But maybe like injury debuffs aside from bleeding. Has that been?
I'll be honest. There's been very little conversation on the dev team about changing combat mechanics since the last one, so I wouldn't expect any sweeping changes anytime soon. But I will say personally, like having played a lot in these last two wars, one thing that's really bothering me is that it feels like there's no good way to get a team. Like, this is a game where when you work as a team, it's supposed to compound. Like, 5 guys working together should be able to destroy 20 guys that aren't. And I don't get that feeling from combat presently. And I think if there's anything that I would be more I'd be interested in hearing is like ideas to make that a reality, to make that teamwork more important. So I don't know about the staggering thing because to me it's always been fine. It's been fine because I hate shadow dancers. Like I hate them with a passion. So
yeah, fair.
So just having that in there, it's
Used to
okay.
be one. You used to be one, by the way.
Oh,
Well,
me
I think
too.
Shadow Dancers
We all
would still
have.
have. I think Shadow Dancers with my system would still have it hard because presumably they're still sprinting a bunch. So if they're sprinting and they lower their stamina, they get shot, and then they're gonna have the stumbling animation once their stamina runs out.
Just for the people in the audience that don't know what Shadow Dancers are, asking for a friend.
Oh yeah.
I totally know what those are.
I made an entire video about it, and it got copyright claimed, but for a good reason because I used a song in it.
Do we need to explain that?
I think
no, I used
Yeah.
spin me right round in that because the shadow dancing. Yeah, it's when you spin around like an idiot and keep shooting and dodging everything.
Think about it like think about like Call of Duty gameplay, right? Where you're
before the whole like stability thing. That
people still do it, although it's not nearly as good.
Yeah, I do that with revolvers. That's the only time I do it.
Yeah, it's still really good with
revolvers. That seems to be the weapon of choice now. It's switched from shotguns because they're heavier. It seems to switch over to revolvers a bit more. Not that I'm suggesting anyone in chat or listening does that.
All right.
Or that you suggest any kind of nerves, right?
New meta.
Pretty much. Bear, thank you very much. I'll see you possibly for a game Kotu. We'll see what happens. Possibly.
I'll send you a message about that.
Yeah, there you go. But Bear, thank you very much for continued support. And Bear, if that name sounds familiar, he's responsible for every single update video. That's how long have you been doing those? It's been consistent.
Too long?
Yeah.
I've been doing them since probably like over 2 years now. Don't make me sound old.
I think the devs kind of rely on that to an extent.
Only 2 years.
Yeah, they do, and that's well.
Yeah, where's his back pay? No. Yeah, Bear. No, we appreciate it.
I have
Thank you.
proof of all the back pay you guys owe me.
All right. Well, have a good one, Bear.
All right, Bear out, you guys.
It's all right. You can just cut all that and edit.
Yeah, there you go.
We actually
just re-edit his voice.
Had one. We just edited it.
Hey, does this report go on YouTube?
Yes, it will go. Yeah, you know what? Yes, it will go on YouTube. So it goes on Twitch. We save it, and then we can't put it on the YouTube. So we'll be doing that for this one. I'm still trying to decide there's no possibly fair way I could decide an order here. So I guess we're just gonna flip a coin.
Bring Franz, Red Cross.
Who? Oh, all right.
France.
Not familiar with the gentleman.
Some people just still staying in the chat. Maybe like if anyone that's already been, if they have nothing.
Well, they can. I know which ones have been in, so they can hang out there.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
I
don't know. I came a bit late. I'm sorry. Welcome.
Yeah, hello. Good evening.
Good evening. What's a France?
Croissant baguette.
No. I'm not from France.
It's just your name and your whole identity.
Oh,
that's
I
confusing.
feel lied to.
Oh yes.
I feel like you've surrendered something to us.
No. Sorry.
Maybe on front line.
I feel like a white flag has just been raised somewhere.
Let him talk, guys.
Yes, that's the reason why I am doing Red Cross neutrals.
So it's a humanitarian White Cross. France, did you have any questions, comments, or concerns for us?
Questions? I think not. I'm just here primarily to talk about the Red Cross and talk about a Metcom that was.
So real quick, what is in the context of Foxhole? What is the Red Cross?
The Red Cross is a group of neutral medics and their guards that are doing just like some operations near the front line with their ambulance and that thing. So they are just treating anyone just as the Red Cross do in reality.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's sweet.
That's really hard to do, I would imagine.
Oh yeah,
Yes, it is. That's why we have guards to defend us, because not everyone really accept this idea.
You've got 20 seconds to get in there before they bleed out. How do you do it?
We have one scout with binoculars that is searching or looking for wounded soldiers, and that's the point of it.
How do you get in there? Well, you see, there's this key called the shift key, and we press it.
A lot. Actually, sounds a lot like my job. But yeah, do you mention MedCom earlier? Is that some sort? So I'm assuming that stands for Medical Command.
Oh yes, I met one guy from the Medcom. He's in our clan too, but he's just to look at what we've done, and basically I'm not new in the game, but I'm new at this game community, and Medcom is just thing that I don't really know something more about it. I'm just new here, so that's it.
Right, yeah. And was there any other stories you wanted to share about your experience here in the past conflict as a member of the Red Cross?
Oh, once when we were on the front line, there was so many wounded colonial soldiers, and we was just two warden medics, and the point of it was that we just healed that colonial soldiers, and after that they killed us. And sometimes I'm thinking about why these people are doing that, because the game is someone maybe thinks that the game is about killing people and the war is about killing people, uh, but that's not the point of the war, because the game is massive multiplayer, and so the game is created by the players, and the game will be that game what the players will make.
Dead players, dead game. That sounds like reasonable logic to me. So if you say Foxhole isn't about killing, what is Foxhole about? You said was it the player interaction? You want to spell? Was that what you said?
Oh, yes. I think that the only law that everyone have to respect in the Foxhole is logistic, because when you don't have anything, when you don't have logistic, your nation is just your nation doesn't work, and you will lose the war. So that's the only law here, and some guys will say that these humanitarian companies like Red Cross and basically Geneva Convention, that it can't work here in this game, but we found a way to.
Wow. KFC, question. What is the Geneva Convention?
Oh, the Geneva Convention.
This was for KFC. I want to talk about this with KFC.
This is the one with the war crimes, right? So no gassing, no using anti-aircraft guns on soldiers. As I understand, I think.
Yeah, and how relevant is that to the world of Foxhole?
Not at all.
All right, France, I think you've got your work cut out for you. I think you need to draft a Geneva Convention for Foxhole and see how many people follow it.
That'd be cool.
Oh yes.
Wow, that would be cool.
Go ahead.
I will try.
And if you need help, because I know I'm assuming English is not your first language, maybe. But
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. No problem there. We won't harp you on enough for that. But I'm curious to see, in terms of your main points, what you come up with for Foxhole. If you do decide to do this, you don't have to. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, a Foxhole Geneva. Actually, no. What's a better name for it? Let's not say Geneva. Let's say
Callahan's convention or Deadlands convention.
Or let's do the Sunhaven convention.
I like that.
Sunhaven convention. And see how many people sign on to it.
It's especially relevant because Sunhaven's been gone. It's like gone now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, our ID, our station ID, it still refers to it as Sunhaven. So we're still 121.5 Sunhaven, but we just never got around to changing it. But
the underground radio.
pretty much. Anyway, France, if you had nothing else for us, thank you so much. Again, I admire the work you do of being a non-combatant. I can sympathize that with, and the rest of my corps can sympathize with that as well. But thank you so much for what you do out there, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Have a good one. All right, I don't know how many more we can get to tonight. I could certainly go on for a bit longer. Maybe not everyone here can. I'm certainly not. Maybe not. We'll see how many we can get to. But we'll just keep going. We'll just keep going. Cracky, that made me laugh. All right, Cracky, how are you doing? Can you hear us? Yeah, you're live here.
Yeah.
You're live here on Zero Dark Press Corps. No warning whatsoever. Just the way we like it. How are you? And what's your experience been like here in the previous conflict?
Oh, the previous conflicts of the 29th War?
30th. Sorry, I'm sorry. The 30th. The one that just ended. The 30th.
All right. Yeah, it's been pretty good. Just started playing today, obviously. But
Wait. So you just started? This is the.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm being stupid. The war just started.
Oh, that's
today.
right. Okay. I got you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I learned how.
I was like, no wonder you mentioned the 29th. Well, did you have any
When did
questions?
you-
Yeah, go ahead. Crazy,
When did
take
you-
it.
When did you start playing, if you don't mind?
I don't know, but I've been playing for a bit, and I come in periodically with the updates. So,
Nice. Hey, this is relevant to me then. If you don't mind my asking, how do you find out about these updates? Like when something is exciting about the update, how do you, where are you getting that information?
when I get the info, I usually just pick to join in one day, and I learn as I go. So if I want to,
cool.
It's a very feel experience.
So you just come back to Foxhole on your own?
Yeah, I came back this last 3 months ago or something, and I've just been playing a lot since then. 29th War, and now this.
Well, it's good. KFC, I'm curious to see, what do you think, or if you have any statistics on this whatsoever, what is probably the biggest source of, engagement would easily be the Discord. No way, no doubt. But in terms of, I guess, how many clicks you get, or how many people come through and find out about Foxhole, do you have any metrics on that, or is that just way too early?
We have none.
Just none at all.
You're terrible.
Yeah, all you do is you're holistically reliant on, that's not the right word, wholly reliant on Steam and your exposure on the Steam page and word of mouth from us, from everyone else, right?
Absolutely. And that's why I was asking the question, because I think, well, it's no secret that our whole platform is here on Discord. Discord is still really new. It's 2 years old at most, and there's no statistics in the background. There's no analytics that we can use on this. It's all for user facing stuff. If you guys can do it on your server, then we can do it on ours, and that's about it. And so that I don't know how many people are reading our messages. I know how many people are on our server, but that's it. And I don't know that I know our social media reach is terrible. We're just not very good at keeping up with it. But
Well, that's a whole job in itself.
yeah, exactly. But it's not. We've always felt like you guys were saying, it's more about players passing on the information. So I was interested if a vast majority of our veteran players come back through, word of mouth from their friends, whether they're coming back through anything that we're doing. So far I'm convinced it's all just work.
Wow. Would you say, I don't know, off the top of your head, is there any other way you think you can do outreach? I know, did you have an Instagram at some point, or was that a community run thing?
I tried very, very briefly, but it's just not
hard.
my thing.
It's hard with a video game. Because yeah, go ahead.
I've recently been trying to be better about updating our Facebook page, but I mean, even
There's a
that, it
Facebook
just feels
page? What?
There's a Facebook page. But it feels what we've been learning is that if it feels contrived, then it's not worth. Like if we're trying to do, if we're doing it because we think we have to, we probably don't.
Well, that's a good way of putting it. So I'm kind of with you on the Instagram, and I didn't even know there was a Facebook. I think Twitter, in your specific case, I think that still works because there's a lot of developer interaction there and streamer interaction there as well.
KFC, if I may, if any of the radio dramas that I make can help the social media presence, you just let me know. Like, I'll do my best to help with that.
They already do. And you know what? Again, even if we were pulling up the analytics, which we're not, like Mark has told me in the past. Remember, Clapfoot comes from mobile games, and we used to do this a lot. It was all A/B testing. Like all mobile games are basically clones of one another because everybody's found the formula and they just copy it until they make money.
Right.
And to
Screaming Man icon, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Screaming Man icon. And then with social media, it's very much the same for us, and so we don't want to make decisions based on statistics, or if we do, we're very, very careful about it. So for the most part, we ignore those completely and just go with conversations and feeling.
Yeah, I mean, to make any decision based on statistics, you need a lot of statistics to even begin that process, and that's just super difficult. So I can understand that. Cracky, were these any of your questions? Did we tap into your psyche exactly what you were asking for out of this conversation?
I didn't even expect it to be a conversation, really. I was just sitting there talking.
That's great. Thank you so much for listening. Was there anything else you had? I'm totally kidding. Cracky, was there anything else you had for us in terms of the previous conflict and the one that's about to start? When does the next one start? Is it already starting?
Yeah, it's
already out. Okay, gotcha. Was there anything else?
No, I just thank you.
No. Hey, thank you. Thanks for keeping up with us, and we'll see you again out there. We're gonna better competition for us. All right. KFC, your pick.
Okay, this will be the last one though, because I gotta get off soon here. Can we do a few of these guys all together? Can we do all the Somme guys? Boomer. Actually, not. Wait, yeah, okay.
Not that
Boomer.
one Somme guy.
I was gonna say not Boomer. Not Subway. No, but yeah, can we get the Somme guys in here? James.
All three of
Boomer,
them.
and Subway.
1, 2, 3.
It's a Somme party.
Hey, Somme.
Hi.
Hello.
All of them harmonize.
Hey guys, how's it going? I just wanted to get you guys in here because I don't talk to the colonial clans nearly enough. I spend a lot of my time on the Wardens, and you guys are like the coolest clan, as far as I'm aware, on the colonial side. So I just thought it'd be cool to get to know you guys. I know Subway.
Yeah.
For sure.
Janeza, your art is amazing.
Thank you.
You are a machine. You put out so much art. It's ridiculous. If anybody didn't see the last community highlights, it was community highlights 70. I had to attribute an entire section to Janeza because I was already reaching my limit for things I could put in there, and he had so much stuff. It was just easier for me to group.
I was about to quit draw, because I have to go to university, so that's gonna be less art from me, and yeah, that's all.
So how was the war for you guys? The war third, since you guys did win.
It was definitely good. Yeah.
Pretty fun.
What was your biggest operation?
I don't think we have any. We just having fun.
Was it mostly ad hoc? And by that I mean just 3 guys find themselves on at the same time. It was like, hey, let's just do something. Was it mostly that?
I mean, yeah, that's a lot. A lot of it was that. There were some operations, but a lot of it was just, we're on at the same time. Let's do something.
Mostly defending endless from Wardens.
Yeah.
Drown well too at the start of the war. That's what very fun.
Give us the inside story. You're not spies, I promise. Were you using Hermit's Rest as your base the last war?
No.
No.
We don't have a base anymore. Because we cannot stockpile and yeah, it's better have anyone get it.
We're homeless now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
we don't need home.
There is no home out there on the battlefield.
Yeah.
There's only your gun.
The only home you have is the Howitz
and the
crater.
country roads.
My
That's
home
good.
is in the truck.
The whole time when we were designing this map, the world map, like when we came to Umbra Wildwood, I looked at Hermit's Rest, and a big part of me just wanted to delete it, just take it off, because it sat like we were trying our best to cut down the number of towns that we needed in the world, and we wanted to just stick to the towns that were controlling bottlenecks, strategically important locations, so that they had more reason to exist than just being a town. But I couldn't do it because I thought about it, and like Hermit's Rest was such a huge part of both you guys' identity and the colonial identity as a whole that we just ended up moving the bulwark closer to it and then put a breach there so that it could justify its existence. So it's too bad you guys aren't using it anymore, but that's okay. Maybe that means I can delete it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
They move right back in.
It's important to everyone in Psalm. It holds so much memory.
Sam will cry if you delete it.
Yeah. I'm gonna cry.
All right, gentlemen, do you have anything else for us?
Nope. I don't think so.
Well, we duly appreciate it. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Swords of Morrow has always been a solid group, and we duly appreciate your continued carrying on the fight so that we can report about it, regardless of where you gentlemen are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think KFC, you said that was going to be your last one. You had any parting words for us here for things looking on the up and up for 31 and other things going on in Foxhole?
Words of wisdom.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody's patience in our update to 27. So I know a lot of people were expecting like an update or a hot fix, everything before this next war came out, and we couldn't do it because we were just tired. Like update 26 came out, and for the last week or so, we honestly, for a little while there, we were just playing for a couple of days. We just logged in. Some of us are more obvious than others, but we just played, and we couldn't get it out. And so we're going to continue to work towards update 27. The schedule is still getting hammered out by Mark, but we will address you guys' complaints. We have heard all the scarcity complaints. We know that you guys are really upset about a lot of different aspects of it, but just have patience with us. We are working through those issues. When it comes to the world map, you guys, there was some concern about the way the world map is like shifted. So we're doing east to west this war. And some people were upset about the lore, and I wish Matt was here to say it, but I'll say it on his behalf anyway, is that we think this is as far as we ever intend to go as far as reversing the sides. So, like, I don't ever expect the Wardens to start south and the Colonials to start north. And so anybody who was concerned about that lore, please rest assured that, like, this is the extreme. We have lots of other ways we can twist the war and make it interesting, but I hope you guys don't... I hope this doesn't impact your overall sense of directionality in the game. But other than that, I really appreciate you guys coming out. I really appreciate PressCorps for you putting this together. I love this broadcast. It's just such a great way to get the community together to talk about things. This is like infinitely better than the round table. People can actually talk here.
Yeah, it's a piece of work, but thank you, and we'll hope to do more of these in the future. Again, the whole shtick for Zero Dark is that we do it a day after the previous conflict has ended. Of course, that's not always feasible with everyone's schedules, and no one knows when the war is going to end. So it's up in the air. But we'll try and keep you updated, and we'll certainly want to do more of these in the future. I think this is the third one we've done with you, KFC, and we'd love to do plenty more. So thank you so much. And at KFC, I think we had one more question. We'll make this quick. We had one more question. Hey, everyone! Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
terrible idea.
Okay, wait.
Listen,
Hold on, wait.
Listen, I can't hear you for